Good morning, good morning. Ah, beautiful Monday morning. Taking to my ocean of abundance, having an incredible be one with my coffee moment. Oh, man, that morning coffee is like no other. I see people checking in. Please go to comments so I can say hi. And I don't have a topic, so whatever's going to come up today is going to come up. Whatever you want to talk about, whatever flies into my conscious awareness is what we're going to talk about. And if you've accidentally landed here, this is my weekly Monday morning #Monday motivation time where I get to play with you and to start my week loving life, because there's nothing more quick than if I'm not feeling it. All I have to do is start broadcasting or speaking somewhere and dish myself some of my own rose-colored Kool-Aid. So I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're alive. And we'll just breathe in together. I know quite a few of you come after the fact and use this as a podcast. So thank you for that as well. All right, let's get started. As usual, I'm going to connect with you through breath. So palms up in your lap, eyes gently closed. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and releasing. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. See if you can hear that ocean in the background. Another deep breath in. And releasing all the stories and the drama. And one last deep breath in. Connecting with me through chi, eternal energy, the breath of life, no beginning, no end. Connecting us all. And in the out breath, gently open your eyes and come back here. I see a few have joined. Good morning, good morning. Go ahead and put your names in the chat so we can have a convo and a dialogue instead of a monologue. I am Dr. Marissa. You know me on the red carpet as the Asian Oprah, because I was introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah by Michael Bernard Beckwith, my big brother. And you also know me as an organizational psychologist by education. So I get to go in companies, talk about power, politics, miscommunication, and conflict. And then most of all, you know me as your happiness guru on a happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And that's with my bestseller book, 8 Ways to Happiness, as well as, just speaking. And I'm grateful for all of the remote speaking I've been doing. I had a doubleheader yesterday. I got to be a commencement speaker and then a community organization speaker. And the day before that, I got to cover some crazy news. Really great news things. Free vaccine clinics, as well as the Palestine protests, and found myself, if I have time, I'll put the story together because it was really incredible. I went to location, I started filming, and they had barricaded off, and there were riot police there, and most of the protesting was over here, and there was a very small group with the Israel flag, and then all of a sudden the gap started closing, and there was some potential confrontations. And I have to say, I give the police a lot of kudos on this. They went in, no guns drawn, no nothing. They tried to de-escalate. Then they moved the Israeli group across on Wilshire Boulevard. This was in front of the federal building, and moved them across that one cross street. So there was then a barricade, but it was pretty tense. I posted it, so if you haven't seen that. But that that certainly brings the whole world conflict crisis uh, up close and personal. And I, 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 I'm going to follow my rule of staying in my hula hoop and talking about those things that I can control. And the only thing I can control when it comes to world peace and what's going on, instead of polarizing and, um, everybody has a right to my opinion. I'm going to keep that opinion to myself and just know that what I can control is who I am and how I am right now, and that I'm just beaming love and light to all of that conflict, and just knowing that no matter what we see on the news and on the media, there's always a grain of truth, and then there's the truth, and then there's belief systems that are the truth. And so this is definitely one of those areas that, for me to stand balanced and centered is the most important thing. So welcome to Monday Motivation with Dr. Marissa. Mind your own business. And that's exactly what I just described, is trying to mind my own business when it comes to all of the conflict around the world. If you've just tuned in and I see a couple, please do say hi to me in the chat, and then we can have an interactive convo this morning for hashtag Monday Motivation. I think because I introduced already, we've started talking about conflict. I used to teach managerial, interpersonal communication, and conflict management at the graduate school level when I was a professor. I'm a retired professor. I got to teach at Boston University, Brussels. That's where I got my start. Antioch, Claremont, and UCLA in the Anderson School. So teaching those courses and being an organizational consultant, organizational psychologist, has, conflict is one of those funny things. And maybe that's what we'll talk about. What do you do when you find yourself in conflict and you don't want to be in conflict? And in fact, I'm actually currently in one. So this is a very good topic for me. So I think a lot of conflict comes from wanting people to understand where I'm coming from. So if you find yourself, and I'll tell on myself, I used to be the kind that I'm supposedly a good communicator. So if I can just communicate in the right way, they're going to change their mind, or they're going to see where I'm coming from, or they're going to understand, or they're going to value my position and back off of their position. And that doesn't always work. And I think the most successful conflict resolutions I've seen are those where you may not understand, nor may you may not agree, but because the light in me sees the light in you, I'm going to at least validate that I heard you. And that 88% of the time helps, because a lot of the time people just want to be heard. People want an acknowledgement that they have been understood, that they have been heard. And if you are one who is very opinionated, who have very strong opinions, and this is me, that the best thing I can do is not is drop the rope. So there cannot be a tug of war if I don't have my side of the rope pulled. If I'm not holding on to that side, and if I'm not pulling, then there is no conflict. I can drop the rope. Now, That's hard. It's hard to say things like, um, that's interesting, and not to follow that up with, how can you think that? Or um, that's an interesting point of view, and not follow up with, um, if I looked like you, I'd be miserable too, if you disagree with it. So it's one of those, if that's part of minding your own business. It's really uh, that point of, and people say, no, but you have to give people something to change their minds to. There's, if you are skilled in reading people and looking for where they are, I would say, if you're, and I use this model in business, 100% the people in your organization, or 100% people in your family, or 100% people in your friends. So the top 20% are people who naturally get you. They naturally understand you. They're naturally on your side, rah rah. They whatever idea you have, we're going for it. And happy to support you, happy to move in that direction. And then there's the 60% that's in the middle. I call them the fencers, and they can go either way. And then there's the bottom 20. So the bottom 20 of my life are people who will never understand me. They will never understand me, and they will never agree with me, because they just won't. And my job, minding my own business, is staying out of that 20. But I used to spend entire exorbitant amounts of time trying to convince that bottom 20 to think like I do. And when I do executive coaching with leaders, that's usually what's happening when they call me in, is they have 20% cheerleaders who are tired of cheerleading because they don't get any recognition at all. And they're so focused on that bottom 20 trying to change their mind. And there's usually a 2%er. So there's usually someone in your family, or someone in your organization, or someone in your friend circle that just is, as Abraham Hicks would call it, a rascal. I call them the grain of sand in my oyster. They're constantly irritating me, but the good news is they force me to create a pearl, and that's how pearls are created, when the oyster puts salve around that irritant. So they're my pearl makers. But that 2% in the mafia, they'd be dead. But in an organization, they're the ones that say, it doesn't matter. They just say no. It's all yes, but no. Or even if you give them money, that still doesn't make them happy. And if you're a leader in an organization and listen to it, and you say, yeah, we just got to find the 2%er and get rid of them. I hate to tell you this, but in every organization I've worked with, if you take that 2% out, someone from that 20% is going to fill that spot. It's an organizational reality that doesn't make sense, but common sense is uncommon, and logic is illogical. And so that 20% serves a purpose in every organization. And so the best thing is not to try to change that 20%. They are who they are. You're never going to there's only one organization I've ever worked with where you have 100% people on that top 20% side, where there is no power, there is no politics. Guess what that is? The cemetery. So that if you want to go work there, you'll have complete agreement all the time on 100% of the people. But if you're alive, then minding my own business is to take my focus off at bottom 20%, trying to change them. Same in your family, same in your friends group, and then turn and focus on the top 20%. So most of the time in organizations, you have, the ones who do agree with you, you just take them for granted, and you don't really, spend as much time acknowledging them. It doesn't have to be in public, because that'll irritate the fork out of the bottom 20. But, having, fueling that relationship. And why you want to do that is because the 60% that are the majority of the people around you are watching where you focus your attention. This works for kids too. If you're always focused on the problem one or the problem behaviors, then those will increase. But if you focus on the positive behaviors, then those will increase. That's the law of attraction. I see a couple more people signed in. Please do put your comment in here. This is Mind Your Own Business with Dr. Marissa, Monday Motivation. And we're just about done, but I'm going to give my Asian Open giveaways at the end. So we're talking about conflict management and organizational reality. So let's see, where was I? Okay, so when you focus your attention on that top, then the 60% will watch you focus that, and they'll move towards the end that you want. They're also watching when you're focused on the bottom 20%, and they'll move in that direction as well. So that's the Happy 88 conflict management organizational tool that I actually use in my professoring and in my consulting. So hopefully that's been helpful for you. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Every Monday morning, it's Mind Your Own Business with Dr. Marissa at 10. I am going to move this to the evening, and I haven't decided what date. But if you have any good ideas, let me know. And I'm also announcing the change. So the bad news is I'm not going to be on Friday at 3. The good news is they wanted to space it out because I'm on 2 times. Thursday at 4, still drive time, prime time, and then Saturday at 6 for Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa. My 492nd consecutive week was last week. And so this week we're doing Stop AAPI. Last week we talked about The Wizard of Oz. And the following week I'm having, for those of you who remember Where Are You, Car 52, Hank Garrett. He will be my guest first Thursday in June. So that's the show. Asian Oprah giveaway is anything you want from the shop that's either the film, the new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities. 2 is Asian Oprah giveaway, and 2 is the Mommy What Are Feelings download, and 3 is my 8 Ways to Happiness audiobook. So you get to choose whichever one you want as a result of #Money Motivation. I hope you have the best week ever. I am covering all of the 5 news places on Saturday. You can all give me some healing light. I put my back out. I think I did not expect to be walking almost 2 miles on my new hip. So my back is up against the wall, so to speak. But I hope you have the best week ever. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from the Ocean of Abundance, reminding you that it's peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace.